Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. I am Jamie Beth. Today I'm going to do a declutter. I think it is time to declutter the last of my palettes. Now I don't have as many palettes as I did in the last declutter video, but it is time for me to get rid of some of these palettes. I have been trying to use a different palette every Friday video that you guys see. So every Friday story I'm trying to use a different palette, and I just won't use up all of these palettes without them expiring sooner. So I'm going to clean up a lot of these palettes and give them to friends and family, or I'm just going to get rid of them because they're very old and probably already expired. So let's jump right in and I will show you the palettes that I'm going to keep and the palettes that I'm going to get rid of. Okay, as you can see, we have two big bins to go through and to declutter. Now I did not leave myself a limit or whatever, like I know a lot of people do. I do not have a limit set. I'm going to keep what I'm going to keep and I'm going to get rid of what I'm going to get rid of. So we're just going to start going through these two bins and getting rid of things. And then at the end, I will show you guys how many palettes I'm getting rid of and what I'm keeping. First up is my very messy James Charles palette. I am keeping this. I use this a lot for my Halloween videos and I just love it. These are pressed pigments and I just think this is a good quality palette. So I have my Urban Decay Naked palettes. I'm going to keep all of these. I'm not getting rid of these. I love every single one of them. I'm keeping all of my ColourPop 9 quad palettes as well as my Super Shock shadows. So we're going to keep like this whole drawer of stuff. And I think there is. So we have these and we have these in here. And I do have a few in that other bin as well that we are going to keep. I am going to keep both of these little ColourPop palette. These are the Aquarius and Pisces, and I love these mini palettes, so I'm definitely keeping these. Now this one, I thought I was going to like it a lot more than I did. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Metropolis palette. I actually think I'm going to give this one away. It is brand new. I have not used it. I have swatched it. So I do have a spray that I can spray on the shadows that will disinfect them so that I can give them to friends and family, but I am going to be giving that one away. Here is another little ColourPop palette. This is the Too Hot palettes. Right? Is that right? Yes, Too Hot palettes. And I am going to be keeping this one as well as this one. This is the Moon Haze palette. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to keep this one. I'm going to give this one away and I'm going to keep the pink one. This one is brand new. I've swatched it. I have not used it, so I'm going to actually pass this along to a friend. Here is another Natasha Denona palette, and I really like this one, but I don't go to this one as much as I go to another palette that has similar colors. So I'm actually going to gift this one as well. So here are my Huda Beauty palettes. These are my little mini 9-pan one. Here is the Obsessions Mauve palettes. The, what is this one? This is the Amethyst of that Obsessions palette and the Ruby Obsessions palette. I am keeping all of these. I use these a lot in colorful looks when I want to create just like a darker shade of a certain color. So I use this to kind of piggyback on top of other colors. So I'm definitely going to keep those. Okay, so these palettes here, these are Z palettes, and I bought some single shadows to go in these Z palettes. I actually am going to consolidate these into another type of palette, but I just bought these. I did a video on all of them. I use them, as you can see. I use them a lot, so I'm going to keep all of these single shadows. Here are my Stila palettes. I have held on to these for a while now. These are the After Hours and the What's the other one? There's After Hours and Happy Hour. So there's After Hours and Happy Hour. I am going to get rid of these palettes because these palettes, they no longer make them, and the shadows are very, very old. So I am going to finally get rid of them, no matter how much I love them. Next up are my Jeffree Star palettes. I have Blood Sugar and Blue Blood. And I was gonna keep these for like Halloween videos and stuff like that, but I have other palettes that are actually better than these. And here is the Blue Blood palette. Now, this one is newer than my Blood Sugar palette, so I might keep this one just because some of these blue shades I don't have in other palettes. And what I might end up doing, because I think what I'm going to do is the palettes that I do keep, I'm going to start taking out the colors that I know I'm going to use out of the palettes and put them in a Z palette and just use them that way, because there are a lot of these shades I do not use. And they're just sitting here getting old. And then the ones that I do use, I can put in something else. So this is my Ciate London, the Editor palette, New England. And again, I've always loved these palettes. I might actually give this one away because I know I have a few friends that will use these palettes up like crazy. So I'm going to be gifting this one. And this brings us to this one. This is the Tullum palette, which has always given me the Huda Beauty is it neutrals vibes. I am going to be giving this one away as well. These are great palettes. They're on the brink of becoming expired, and I just don't use them as much as I thought I was going to, no matter how much I love them and love the formula and stuff like that. Okay, on to the Plain Jane palette. This one I'm definitely keeping. These are all a bunch of beautiful shimmers. This is by the company called Adept Cosmetics. I am definitely keeping this one. I am definitely keeping this one as well. This is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Quartz palette, and this was gifted to me by my best friend. I love, love, love this palette. I am definitely keeping that one. And here is my Natasha Denona Glam palette, and here's what that one looks like. I'm definitely keeping this one. This is a great fall palette, and it's a great neutral like day to night type of palette. I love it. It's very universal. Moving along to Bare Necessities by ColourPop. I actually am going to be getting rid of this one. This one's actually I've had it for a very, very long time, so it is probably expired now. Moving along to my Be Perfect Clientele palette by the YouTuber Ja. I love this palette, but I do not reach for it as much as I thought I was going to. I have used it many times, but I think before the shades start again expiring, I'm going to pass it along to a friend or family member that might utilize it more than I have. This is the Fade into Hue palette. I have utilized this palette a little bit. I thought I was going to use it a little bit more than I have. These shades, I mean, I know people love it, but I would take the James Charles palette over this one, only because I just think the James Charles palette is a little bit more pigmented than this one. This was a great idea. It's a gorgeous palette, and I think I'm going to pass it along because I'm sure I have a friend that will use this more than I did. Moving along to the Iconic London palette, and this is Sunset to Sunrise. I have not used this palette. It is brand spanking new. I am going to see which one of my friends would like this palette. I'm going to move it along. And now we come to my Tati Beauty palette, and this is actually my second palette. I have not used this one as much. That is why this one doesn't look as used. I'm definitely keeping this one. Tati Beauty is no longer a brand, and I am really sad about that because this was one heck of a palette. So I'm going to keep this one and keep using it. Okay, here is a cute little Tarte palette. I do believe this one is still brand spanking new. I did swatch some of these colors. I have a friend that will love this palette a little bit more than I have. I'm just not a huge fan of Tarte shadows. All right, moving along to this one. This is a brand new palette. I'm going to keep this. This is the Play It Jewel palette by ColourPop. I absolutely love it. Those colors, every single one of them are fabulous. And I just adore this palette. So I'm definitely keeping that one. As well as this one. This is the Miss Claus, the Litless palette. And this one's fairly new as well. Look at all those beautiful shades. I use this one a lot and I'm going to continue to use it. So we are definitely keeping this one. This one is by BH Cosmetics. Here is the Carnival palette by Be Perfect. And I am going to pass this one along. I thought I was going to use it a lot more than I do. It's a beautiful palette. The shades are great, very pigmented, but I don't reach for it as much as I do other palettes with the same shades. And on to this one. This is the Center Stage palette by Pinky Rose Cosmetics. I love this one. It's a cute little nudie palette. I am going to keep this one. And of course, I'm going to keep my Dominique Cosmetics Transition palette. I use this one practically every day. And then I'm also going to keep the Berries and Cream palette by Dominique Cosmetics. Here is my Lorac Pro Palette Mega 3. And my sweet husband bought me this palette and I have yet to use it. I do have a friend that will use this. It won't just sit in my bin collecting dust and expiring. On to my Hip Dot palettes. I love Hip Dot. I think it's a great brand. These are beautiful colors. However, I have not used these yet. I'm going to pass these along to someone that might want them. And here is, so this green one is called the Cenote, and then this one's called Zion. A lot of these palettes that I haven't used, I did not pay for. So there are a lot that I have not used that didn't cost me money. So I'm not like just throwing my money away. I have not gotten to them. So I should pass them along to other people. I am definitely keeping this one. This is the Urban Decay Stone palette. Okay, moving along to this beautiful Violet Voss. This is the Violet Voss Rainbow palettes. And it's just a bunch of beautiful shimmer shades. I am going to pass this one along as well because I have these shades and something in those single shadows that I have, I just like them a little bit better than these. So moving along to my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes, I have the Riviera palette, which is right here. And this one kind of got a little bit busted up in the mail. I'm going to pass this along to somebody who would want it. I'm not getting rid of any of these palettes. Absolutely not. They're all staying. So we're on to these ones here. These are the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palettes. And I use these a lot for the Halloween looks that I create. There are some very unique shadows in these. And I'm going to keep these for that reason because they are great palettes for my more creative look. The next one we have is this Morphe 35C Everyday Chic palette. I believe I got this in the mail. I have not used it. I have swatched a few of the shades, and what I think I'm going to do with this one too is take some of these shades that I really like and put it in a Z palette as well. Like just depot it and then use the colors I know I'm going to use. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this one instead of giving it away because I do like a lot of these shadows. Okay, and moving along to another ColourPop. This is the So Jaded palette. A gorgeous palette. Again, I have not utilized this much as I thought I would. I have utilized like one shade a ton, but the rest of them I have not, and I think I might just pass this one along. Okay, so on to my mini Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. Such a cute palette. I am going to pass this one along as well. This guy I'm going to keep. This is the ColourPop Tinkerbell palette, and I just love those greens, so I'm definitely keeping this one. So this is the BH Cosmetics Aurora Lights palette, and this palette, I mean, these are very expired shades, and I noticed that they are not performing as well as they used to, so I think I'm going to have to get rid of this palette no matter how much I don't want to. I wish BH Cosmetics would come back out with this palette. It was such a great palette, and these shades are phenomenal, but they are definitely expired. So I'm going to be getting rid of this one. Moving along to this one. This is the Odin's Eye Freya palette. And I saw this palette on another YouTuber's channel and I just loved it, but then when I got it in the mail, it didn't seem like it was the same palette. I don't know if they changed something or what, but I've never used this. I am going to pass this one along. Here is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And I actually had purchased this one because for some reason, I got the Sunset and Sunrise palettes mixed up. What I really wanted was the Sunset palette, not the Sunrise. I mean, this is a beautiful palette, but I think what I'm going to do is kind of pass this one along because I do not use it. This is the Focallure Sweet as Honey palette. I bought this one a while ago. I don't know why I keep holding on to this one because it actually is kind of crappy. The shades are kind of crappy. I'm not sure why I have this one still. I should have gotten rid of it a long time ago. And this is the Pure Defense palette, anti-pollution eyeshadow palette. Here's what it looks like. I have not used this palette at all. I'm not a big fan of Pure. I'm gonna move this one along. Here is my Illamasqua palette. I love this palette. I am going to, though, move this one along because I think I have two of these actually. So one I use and one is still brand new. I'm going to move the brand new one to a friend or a family member. Moving along to this cute little palette. This is the Bella Life in Pastel. And actually, this palette here outperforms that Fade into Hue palette by ColourPop. The shades in this little palette are much more vibrant and pigmented than that one. So I think I'm going to be keeping this one. Okay, so moving along to my Juvia's Place Nubian Coral 3 palette. As you can see, it's very well loved. This is a really, really old palette. I am going to be getting rid of this one. And this one as well, I am going to be getting rid of only because I have these shades and other single shadows, and this is actually a pretty old palette as well. And now we have my Huda Beauty, and this is the Rose Gold Remastered palette. Rose Gold Remastered palette. And I actually am going to be getting rid of this one too. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't reach for this as much as I used to, and I've had this palette for a long time. I'm pretty sure it's expired. As well as this one. This one is also expired. This is the original Jaclyn Hill palettes. And here it is. I mean, you can see it's very, very well loved. I've used this palette for a very long time. And the only reason why I keep holding on to it is because I know they changed the formula on this original palette. And I won't buy the newer one because it's not the same. So moving along, here's the Garden Variety palette by ColourPop, and I thought I was going to love this one much more than I do, and I'm going to pass it along because I'm sure someone will get a lot more use out of it than me. This one, I have no clue why I'm still holding on to it. This is the Morphe Glam palette by MANY MUA. I keep holding on to it. I mean, there is one color that I think is cool, and it's this one right here. But other than that, there's nothing great about this palette. Nothing that like draws me near. So I'm actually going to be getting rid of this one now. Moving it along to a friend or family member. This is the BH Cosmetics Opalescence palette, and this is a palette I used a lot. As you can see, I've hit pan on a couple of colors. This palette is expired. I don't even know if they still sell the opalescent palette. If they do, it's a great palette, nice and affordable, and I do highly recommend it if they do still sell it. So this I am going to be getting rid of because it is expired. Moving on to this one. This is a fairly new palette. It's Natasha Denona's Diamond and Blush palette. There are some cream shades and some powder shades in here. I think I'm going to be moving this along to a friend or family member because I do not use it. Okay, moving along to the Smoke Show palette. I actually think I'm going to be getting rid of this one because I have dark colors that perform a little bit better than these ones do. So this palette is actually called Blowing Smoke now from ColourPop. I do think I am going to be getting rid of this one. And this is the Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette. I am going to be keeping this one just because I just bought it to try it out, and hopefully it performs a little bit better than that Blowing Smoke palette by ColourPop. We will see. So that I am going to keep. Moving along to my little Lawless palettes, and these are the one little and the one baby palettes. And here is the baby one. It's just like a little like berry colors, and then the little palette is a bunch of nudes. These are actually kind of old palettes. I do think they might be expired by now, so I'm just going to be getting rid of these. On to some more ColourPop. This is the She's Got Solstice palettes. And here is what that looks like. I thought I was going to use this one more than I do. These shades just, they don't work for me. I am going to be passing along this one. I am going to definitely be keeping this one. This is the At For a Sight by ColourPop, and this is the collab that they did with Raw Beauty Christie. I do love these shades. I do think, however, I am going to be getting rid of this one. This is the She's All That palette, and I thought I was going to like it a lot more than I do. Nothing wrong with this palette. I just don't use it at all. So I'm going to move it along to someone who might. I am going to be getting rid of this one as well. This is a bunch of glitter shades, and they're actually pretty terrible. Moving along to the Double Entendre palette, and I am going to be getting rid of this one just because it's expired. I use this one a lot. I do love it. It's a great palette, and I do believe they still make it. But this one's very, very old. I'm also going to be moving along this one. This is the Sugar Rush palette, which I forget what brand Sugar Rush is. It might be Tarte or Too Faced. I don't know. I think it's Tarte. They have another brand called Sugar Rush, or did have another brand called Sugar Rush, and this was the BU palette. Very cute palette, a cute idea, beautiful shades. A lot of these shades just didn't work for me, so I am going to be actually getting rid of this palette because this one's actually old and probably expired. Here is my Going Coconuts palette. I am keeping this one because I really do like this palette. And this is the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions palette. I'm getting rid of this one. This one's actually, I think it might be expired, so I'm just going to get rid of this. I didn't like it as much as I thought it would, as much as I like the other ones that I showed you. And this is my Tarte Blush Wheel palette. Just a bunch of blushes. These are all expired, so I am going to be getting rid of this. This is the Morphe 9V Vintage Rose palette. Beautiful, like muted rosy colors. I am going to pass this one along. I have not used it, and I don't see myself using it in the near future, so I'm going to pass that one along. As well as this one. I think I featured this one in another video, and it's a good palette. I just don't reach for it. This is the one where like that shade looked pink on me, and it looks orange here, so it was really weird, but it's a beautiful palette, beautiful shades. It is the Ace Beauté Scarlet Dusk palette, and I'm going to be passing this one along. As well as this one. This is the KAB Cosmetics, and this is, what is the name of this palette? Day and Night. Beautiful nude colors. I just, again, don't use it, so I don't reach for it. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to pass it along to someone who will. So this Real Her 3 palette, and this is the I Feel Beautiful. I love their eyeliner. I love their brow pencils, but this palette sucks, and it's just absolutely terrible. These aren't pigmented. They're just terrible, terrible shades, and I'm going to get rid of this. So this is the Clinique All About Shadow palette, and I was given this palette by a friend who wasn't going to use it, and unfortunately I did not use it either, and I do think this is expired because I think she had it for a while before she even gave it to me. So I'm actually going to be getting rid of this because I just think these are expired shadows. Laura Geller Casual Collection palette. This palette's actually extremely crappy. I do not like Laura Geller shadows. I actually don't like Laura Geller anything, but I thought this was a cute palette, and it's just crap, and there's no pigment, it doesn't blend, nothing is great about this palette, so we're getting rid of that. Next is my first Glam Light palette, and this cute little cupcake one. This is called, what is it called? Is there an actual name somewhere, or is it just Glam? Just Glam. Bunch of beautiful berry colors. I have not used this. What I do think I might do is depot it, I don't know, or give it away. I'm gonna do one of the two because I do kind of like that purple color down at the bottom, but I mean, I don't know. I might give it away if someone wants it. If not, I might just take some of these shades out of here. Okay, moving along to a couple more Huda Beauty palettes. This is the Lilac palette. I got this, I think, in one of my last Boxy Charm boxes. I have never used this. I'm going to gift it. And the Khaki Haze palette, another gorgeous palette, but these shades do not look good on me, so I'm going to pass this one along as well. So here is a palette that I created myself by Makeup Geek. I am going to get rid of this palette because these are actually very, very old. I am going to keep my little e.l.f. quads. I do love these a lot, but I am going to be gifting the Wet n Wild ones because these just don't have the pigment the e.l.f. ones do, and I am not using these. So, and these are brand new. And here are some Natasha Denona palettes. So here is the Mini Star palette. I thought this one was going to be a lot cooler than it is. That color on the end, which I thought was going to be like a neat green shade, is ugly as heck. So I am actually going to see if anyone would like this palette and give it away. So the rest of these, I'm also going to be giving away these palettes too. We have the Mini Nude palette, the Peak palette, and the Ayana palette. I have not used any of these, so I'm going to see if someone will. Okay, moving along to this cute little Fenty Beauty one. Again, I thought I was going to use it a lot more than I do, and I just haven't, so I'm going to give this one away as well as the Cinema Secrets one. I have not used. Such pretty colors, but I have not used them. So moving along to the Violet Voss Pinky Promise palettes. Beautiful shades. These brown shades are just not my shades, so I am moving this palette along as well. Then we come up to the Violet Voss Essentials palette. I know someone who really wants this palette, so I'm going to give that to that person. Okay, on to some more Juvia's Place palettes, and these are actually really nice palettes. However, these shades do not look good on me, so I'm going to see if someone else would like this. So this is the Chocolate, the Nude, and the Blush palette. So these are just nude, light nude shades, and then some pinky shades that are really pretty. I'm going to see if anyone would like these because I just do not use them. Okay, moving along to this palette right here. I am going to get rid of this palette finally. This is my Ink Block palette. I actually created this palette. You got to pick shadows and put them in here. And this is so old. This is the very first expensive palette I ever purchased. And this was before I really knew what I wanted out of eyeshadows. And I just have held on to this for nostalgia reasons, and it's time to let go. Okay, this one I'm also going to pass along. This is the Queen Eloise palette. Beautiful palette. I just do not use any of these colors. Beauty Bakery Breakfast in Bed palette. These shades just don't look good on me, so I'm going to pass this along. This is the Gourmand Girls palette, Exquisite. It's a beautiful palette. I have not used it. I'm going to pass it along. As well as this one. This is the Be Beauty Barbella palette. And I mean, it's an okay palette. These just aren't color. This isn't a color story that draws me in. So I'm going to pass this one along as well. So now I'm going to count all of the palettes that I'm going to get rid of, going to keep, and going to give away. Okay, you know what? I have changed my mind. I'm still going to keep my Ciate London palettes. I can't get rid of these. I love them too much. So the grand total of palettes that I owned is 124, which is a lot of palettes. Not nearly as much as some of these bigger YouTubers who have like close to 600 palettes that they're never going to use. So again, out of that 124, 43 are being kept. 52 are being given to family or friends once I have disinfected all of them. And then 29 are going to be thrown away because they're old and expired. So those are the palettes that I'm getting rid of and the palettes I'm keeping. I know it's like not as many. It's still a lot, but I am getting down to, the pile's dwindling down. It really is. So I'm really happy with what I've kept and what I have discarded. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and remember to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, as well as the notification bell next to it to be notified of all of my upcoming videos. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.